Okay, this screencast I have for you today, we're going to talk about common features that we find in all software products. Okay, so this is the third and kind of last screencast that I'll do out of Chapter 2 here. All right, so some of the common features you'll find are really where the edit menu is and the file menu. All right, and the one I'm going to look at today is just the find. You know, if you think of what's under your edit menu, and let me show you an example as we're going through this here. Here I have Firefox pulled up here, and I'm just looking at the different options I have under the edit menu. And most of these I think are found just about every software package there is. So copy, paste, cut, paste, delete. Note that all of them have shortcut keys as well. I can go Control C on my Windows, or if I'm using you know, an Apple, I can use the Apple C, you know, to do the same functions here. Another common place we'll find is the file menu here, and my file menu, almost all of them have the opportunity somewhere near to print, to open up a new file, to in my web browser select a new tab, new window, or exit out. Okay, so we get back to you know, form follows function. These GUIs are going to be very, very similar. All right, and so we're going to look at the Control F, which is find under the edit menu, and what that does is it looks for, and your author uses the term tokens, but really when we're finding something, we're finding letters, or they can be you know, more complex type of characters. There could be a carriage return, which is really hard. You can't type that. So there's special characters, and your more advanced software programs will have more advanced find along with them. All right. So here's a search. So if we're searching for the word content, it goes through and looks for a CONTENT, and it searches for all those. If you had the word you know, a similar word there, and you had CON, it might find something like continent. All right, or if you just typed in a search for, or a find for C, it's the word characters also going to show up. Some other complications you might find: case sensitivity. Capital C is different from lowercase c. All right, so really and there's little toggles here where you can ignore case sensitivity as well, and sometimes this is the default too. All right, but these are all complications that show up with this. Hidden text, I mentioned, like, all right, I'm looking for something that has a particular keyboard character, say the return key, and I need to, you know, maybe find, you know, my software might not be complex enough to search for that. Okay, or maybe it is. You might want to look for substrings. So the example here, searching for you, will also turn up your. We'll do again example this. Multi-word strings, so sometimes words are separated by spaces. So if the number of spaces is different, you know, you're not going to find a match. And then we can also, the other very common item in here is doing a replace. Okay, and they call it substitution, but search and replace allow you to, if you misspelled a name and you misspelled it 100 times in a document, you could say search for the wrong spelling and then put in the right spelling and then hit replace all. Sometimes that's a huge time saver. Okay. Here's and this is I believe a window out of a Mac interface, and you can see here's the find and replace. And you can replace one, you can replace all, or you can go on and find the next one. All right. Let me get to my, you know, my brief demonstration here, and I just pulled up the catalog, and I'm in our section of the college catalog here, and I thought it would be a nice exercise to use find and replace, or just find, because we can't replace anything, it's a read-only document. But I could hit find, and let's put in some words, and really easy to find the word computer. Okay, so there's my first hit on computer. If you notice that the word it finds is not computer, it's computer hyphenated. All right, and I can go down and find the next. I can find it again. I can find it again. All right, and of course you're going to find in our department the word computer in here quite often. Another tool I have, and I'm using the Firefox web browser, is to highlight all. All right, what this does, if I click this, it will highlight, and you can see here in purple, all occurrences of the word computer. All right. Another thing that I'll just point out here, I have the match case, and this is the case sensitivity button here. So here's computer with a capital C, and it doesn't show up. All right, interesting. Let me take the match case off. All right, and you notice now it shows up a whole bunch more times. So here's computer, here's computer, here's computer, and it's showing both case sensitive, capital and lowercase c. All right. So let's search and replace. Find it under the edit menu, and again, I believe this is just about in every software package that you'll find. All right, so kind of wrap things up here for chapter 2. A little review here. So technology, take it personally. Recognize that you've learned, and what you've learned you can expect to see again. All right, and there's software developers are always looking for better ways to improve on the human-computer interaction. So as time goes on, continue to expect more intuitive interfaces. And as we learn software, we should draw upon our past knowledge and learn from, okay, I know a little bit about this software package, so I'll also know a little bit about this other one. We also learn from metaphors. We might need to watch somebody else. That's a great way of learning software. Some other things is under a category taking it personally. Is there IT that I'm not now using that could help me with my task? You know, IT classes and basically all sorts of computer classes are really helpful because you see things that you might not ordinarily use, or sitting down with another user you might find that as well. So summarize, just go through a couple of these. We figure out new software because designers use some consistent interfaces, suggested metaphors, example the desktop, and some standard functionality. So we have similar menus. All right. Some other kind of points here that we covered in this chapter. We explore new applications by clicking around and blazing away. That means experimenting on our own. And we should think personally about technology and really utilize these general principles and ideas, and all of us can become expert users.